of the Westchester community. We welcome the members of the LGBTQ community this evening to our chambers. Thank you all very much for joining us. In the 45 years that have passed since the Stonewall resistance in June of 1969, the LGBTQ community has continued to fight against discrimination and for civil rights. This month, we celebrate the contributions the LGBTQ community has made to Westchester County and all the successes that have been achieved. Just think, the passage of the Marriage Equality Act in June of 2011. What a huge accomplishment for same-sex couples. But of course, there is no legislation, unfortunately, that can eradicate prejudice. That is something we must work together as neighbors, co-workers, friends, and families. And most importantly, we must set an example of acceptance and inclusion. It's through advocacy and education that we will continue to demonstrate that as a society, we can only realize our collective potential when we recognize, embrace, and take pride in the differences that exist among us. The most profound differences that exist among us are very small compared, however, to what we all share in common. The sharing, among other things, the human spirit, a right to dignity, equality, and a right to love who we want to love. LGBTQ Pride Month, and specifically this event this evening, should send the message that we in Westchester County recognize, value, and honor the contributions that the LGBTQ community has made to our country and to our community. Thank you all, and welcome to this wonderful program this evening. And we have a rule, no applause, but that is the absolute exception to the rule. Thank you so very much. And for all this evening, that rule does not apply for the LGBTQ Pride celebration. At this point, I would ask if Legislator Catherine Parker could please come up and join us in the beginning of the presentation of proclamations.
Thank you, Chairman Kaplowitz. As the legislator for the Sound Shore of Westchester, I speak with pride when I say Amy Siskind is one of my constituents. As a national spokesperson, Amy Siskind has been a voice and giving voice through her organization, The New Agenda, to women throughout this country. What Amy has called for time and time again is equality for all to be equally safe from harm on college campuses, and safe to achieve dreams to become the people that they so choose. Amy has been a voice calling out for freedom for all to love whom they want to love, gay or straight, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, or queer. She has also called out the politicians or newsmakers who deny that basic belief that we are all equal and who demonstrate that misogyny and homophobia and intolerance are unfortunately alive and well. The desires that we all have to be accepted for who we are and to be empowered to pursue happiness for all the facets of our lives is clearly a driving force for Amy Siskind. As she says, have your all. Her children, Amanda and Jackson, see Amy living that motto every day as a successful career woman, as an openly gay woman, loving the woman she wants to love, pursuing her goals and dreams, and leading by example. They are so lucky to have her, and Westchester is honored to be called home by Amy Siskind. I am also honored to present you with this proclamation, which, where are we hiding it? Whoops. Oh, yep. Yes. And I want you to notice on the bottom there's this little card, and what that is telling you is that tomorrow night, Tuesday, June 24th, the county center on the marquee, your name is going to be up in lights because tomorrow will be Amy Siskind Day in Westchester County. So, yes. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Sure. Say the words.
I'm just simply overwhelmed. I'm just going to start this off with simple words of one of my friends who is an advocate in the fight as well, which is we're all in this together. And the battles that we all fight for equality are all intertwined. We started the New Agenda, the organization that I co-founded and am president of, in 2008. At that time, we were really upset by the double standard with which Hillary Clinton was treated in the media, and we said we had to do something about it. And a group of us from around the country got together and started what since has become a national organization, founded on a principle that at the time was very earth-shattering for some reason, and that was we wanted to have a women's group that would be inclusive of all women. And we, to this day, and it's something I'm very proud of and something that I've personally evolved from, walked the walk of diversity and inclusion, and I know few organizations that do it as well as the New Agenda. If you come to our events, you'll see women of all stripes, of all belief systems, of all ages, of all socioeconomic backgrounds, races, political parties, and we welcome all. And the good news is if you operate that way year after year, which we have now for 6 years, you start to notice that you don't notice anymore. That the common ground that we all celebrate, as the speaker said in our introduction, that we share so much in common and our differences are very small. And when we opened our minds to that notion of inclusion and of celebrating differences, not only did we all individually grow, but we found something that over time just became very comfortable and made everybody involved in our organization feel welcome. I had to actually think about it on my drive over, but our board naturally evolved then to become the constituents we represented. So our board is half Democrat, half Republican. We have women of color, a woman who's a first-generation woman from Cuba. 2 of us are gay. But again, these are things that don't even occur to me. It's just something that we've done naturally. And I want to also say how fortunate we are because we are a national organization, so I see what's going on around the country. How fortunate we are here in Westchester where we live in this time, in this space. And I've seen, again, as a lesbian woman in this community, how this county has transformed in the last decade, and it's just incredible. My children's generation, which I give a big part of the credit for this upheaval almost in the last decade, are totally blind to sexual orientation and totally indifferent. In fact, I think I'm probably one of the hip moms because I'm a lesbian as opposed to being discriminated against, which just shows you how far we've come and how grateful we can be and how blessed we are to live in this community where people as individuals with differences are celebrated. And it's truly the work of Westchester. I just want to close this out with one of my favorite quotes, and it talks about, I don't know how many of you follow Charles Blow in the New York Times. My daughter has to pick for her English course next year one columnist to follow, and I said, you've got to pick Charles Blow. There's few that understand the struggles, not only of people of color, but also of the gay community, of gender discrimination. All 3 of them are still very much with us today. And this is a quote that Charles had written in one of his pieces after marriage equality had made some major hurdles in the Supreme Court, but at the same time, the Voting Rights Act was significantly stripped, and at the same time, reproductive rights are being stripped around the country. And that is, racial hostility, homophobia, and misogyny are braided together like strands of the same rope. When we fight one, we fight them all. So I thank you in Westchester County Legislators for celebrating LGBTQ with us, and I'm honored to be part of this community. Thank you.
Amy, may we take a picture with you?